Hello and welcome to Enjoy English School.
欢迎来到 Enjoy 英语学院。
I'm Stevie.
And I'm Laurie.
Today and tomorrow, we are looking at our book club lesson. And this month, this is not just a great book. It's a book that is being turned into a movie. It's called The Life List. It's never too late to live.
没错，所以呢，今天跟明天的好书俱乐部，我们要来看到的这本好书，刚刚 Stevie 老师提到，它不仅仅只是一本书而已了哦，它已经也被这个即将要翻拍成这个电影。那么呢，这本书的中文名称呢叫做《生命清单》，那我们中文的文章标题叫做《勇于追梦，活出精彩人生》。我们赶快来看一下。
Okay, looking at paragraph 1. The Life List is the debut novel by American writer Laurie Nelson Spielman. So, The Life List, this is the name of the book. It is the debut novel. Now, we know a novel is a long book. Now, this word debut, it looks like it says debut, right? But it is a word from French. And so debut means the first one or the beginning of something. So when you debut a movie, it's the movie debut is like the very first time people are seeing it. So if we're calling this her debut novel or debut book, that means it is her first book. And this book is by American writer or author, we're going to see in the next sentence, Laurie Nelson Spielman.
That's right. 所以呢，我们现在来进入文章，看到第一句啊。首先呢，当然看到了书名，那记得啊，就是这个斜体字，然后第一个字母大写是我们在写 title 的一个固定的这个表达方式啊。所以这本生命清单呢，它是由美国作者 Laurie Nelson Spielman 呢，他所写的第一本小说。那所以刚刚呢，这个 Stevie 老师也特别讲到了 debut 这个字呢，要小心哦，这个它的那个念法跟英文的发音是不一样，因为它是一个法文字，那表示的是首演的、首度的、首次的哦。所以在这里的话呢，后面加了一个 novel， 那当然指的就是他的第一本的小说。
Spielman wasn't always an author, though. She was not always a writer.
接下来这一句呢很简单，讲到 Spielman 他呢并不一开始就是一个作家哦，这里的 wasn't always 他并不一直是，所以我们中文可以把它翻成一开始他也不是一位作家。
Her first careers were as a speech therapist and after that, a teacher. So her first careers. Now, you notice we didn't say her first jobs. I mean, her first job, your first job, maybe you're in high school, could be working at a drink shop or fast food, right? But when we say somebody's first career, like that's what they did for a living. Okay, your first career, it's usually a long-term job and something you do, you know, this is what you kind of do in your life. So in her first career, she was a speech therapist. That means she helped people who had speech problems. So if actually, I don't know how to say speech therapist in Chinese.
语言治疗师。
Oh, good job.
Thank you.
So she was a speech therapist. She helped people who had what we call speech impediment. That's the word we use. If you have a problem, you know, moving your lips or your tongue, pardon me, then we call that a speech impediment. I-M-P-E-D-I-M-E-N-T. Impediment. So her first career was a speech therapist, and after that, she was a teacher.
接下来这一句呢，他讲到，既然他并不是一开始就是一位作家，所以提到他呢，这个一开始的职业，首先是这个一名 语言的治疗师，就是我们这边看到的 speech therapist 啊。那么这里的本来的 therapy 呢，就是治疗的意思啊。这个 py 结尾，那它去掉 y， 把它改成 ist 加上去变人，所以就变治疗师啊。那么以及呢，在那之后则是成为一名老师，所以这是他的职业啊。那么刚刚呢 Stevie 老师有补充到这个说话的障碍 impediment。Speech
impediment.
这个字啊，障碍，所以呢，也可以一起把它学起来。
In fact, she didn't write her first novel until she was 48 years old. So she didn't write her first full novel until she was 48.
所以呢，接下来讲到事实上啊，那么呢，这里他想要是再进一步的这个补充啊，说呢，他呢一直到他48岁的时候才写出他的第一本小说。那注意到在英文这里的话，我们前面是用 not 否定，然后 until 直到什么时候才做。那但是呢，我们的中文就会说，一直到48岁的时候，他才写出第一本小说。我们会用肯定式所以这个是他这个中间一个小小的注意的地方。
Yep. Still, it was worth the wait for the life list. This is saying, she wrote the book really late in life compared to other people, maybe. But it was worth waiting for. It was worth waiting for this book, which is the life list.
没错，所以呢，接下来他讲到说，然而这本书《生命清单》这本书还是值得我们的这个等待的那这里看到的 be worth something 这个后面的 something， 所以你看到这里它的名词是用的 wait for 来表达那么 for 的后面呢，就是你那个等待的对象了。
Okay, we'll take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with the next paragraph in just a moment. Okay, looking at the next paragraph, we're talking about this book, The Life List. Well, the book tells the story of a woman named Brett. This sentence is very easy. The book tells us the story about a woman. What is her name?Brett.
是的，所以呢，我们接下来进入这一段来看到一开始他讲到这本书他诉说的故事呢，是一名名为 Brett 的女性她的故事。
After losing her mother to cancer, Brett hopes to inherit the company her mother established. So, after losing her mother to cancer, we hear this phrase, lose somebody to something. And of course, sadly, we do hear it about cancer. But we also hear somebody lost their life to, due to a heart attack but this means that her mother died from cancer. Okay, so she lost her mother to cancer. So after this happened, Brett hopes to inherit the company her mother established. Now, when we inherit something, that is when people who are 我们的长辈, right? Our grandparents, our parents, when they pass on or die, it's what they leave you. You inherit what they leave you. And so she hopes to inherit the company that her mother established. Now, what's another way for saying established when we are talking about a company? Well, we could say the company that her mother started.
Or found?
Or founded.
Founded.
F-O-U-N-D-E-D. 那这个不是找到咯。It's not, I found something. When you found a company, it means you build it from the bottom.
From zero.
Yeah.
好，所以呢，我们接下来看到这一句讲到说，就在他因为癌症而失去他的妈妈之后Brett 他很希望能够继承刚刚呢 Stevie 老师帮我们解释的 inherit 这个字，继承呢什么东西呢？ The company her mother established 就是他妈妈所成立的、所建立的这个公司那所以刚刚也讲到 establish 这个字呢，你也可以记同样的另外的意思的一个字呢是 found F-O-U-N-D 那它呢听起来像这个 find 的过去式，但是其实它是原型，那指的也是创立 建立的意思。
So, she's hoping that her mother left her this company, that she inherited this company. However, her mother's will requires that Brett first complete everything on a life list she created when she was 14. So this is kind of interesting. She wants, before Brett inherits this company and has to dedicate her whole life and time to this company, her mother says, okay, her will. Now, in this case, the will is the piece of paper that your grandparents or mother or father or even you, that you sign and say, when I die, this is what should happen.
That's right.
This person will get money. This person will get a car. This person will take care of my cat. Things like this. This is what you write down. It's called a will. So her mother's will requires, if you want the company, you have to do some things. So it requires that she complete everything on a life list that she started when she was 14. So when she was 14, she started a list and said, oh, I want to do this and this and this and this in my life. And her mother said, okay, you will inherit the company, but first you have to complete the whole life list.
You have to finish them first.
Yeah.
所以呢，接下来讲到说，然而那你每次看到 however 就表示这个地方有转折了。什么转折呢？他妈妈的遗嘱刚刚呢 Steve 老师已经讲到了这个你在上面写说，等我死后我要怎么安排一些事情，谁来照顾我的猫咪等等的这些，就是一个 will 一个遗嘱。那么呢，他妈妈的遗嘱里头 requires 是要求要求的后面我们常常可以看到的一个固定用法是接一个 that 子句那么呢 that 的后面告诉我们他要求什么呢？ Brett 首先要能够完成他14岁的时候他所开始的那一份生命清单上的每一样事项，他必须完成这些事项 complete 是完成的意思那么才能够继承他妈妈的公司。
That's pretty cool. So items on the list, part of the stuff that was written on the list, items on the list include things like falling in love, having babies, and visiting Paris. Okay, these are some of the things that when she was 14, she wanted to do when she grew up. So, wow. Falling in love and having babies, that takes time. And luck.
That's right.
Lots of luck.
That's true. 好，所以呢，接下来他就讲到说了，那么 items 是指这个物品或者是项目所以这里是指呢清单上的事项呢，就包含了像是这个谈恋爱或者像是生宝宝，以及呢造访巴黎等等这样子的事情。
Okay, we're going to take one more quick break, and we'll be right back with the rest of the article. All right, looking at the last paragraph here, the story, meaning this book, the story in this book, the story was inspired by real-life events from the author's past. Now, remember, before, when we're talking about movies, we talked about the book was based on, a true story. Well, this one, she said the story was inspired by real-life events in her own life. Does that mean everything in the book happened just like her life? No. But it means that her real life gave her ideas for this book.
所以呢，这就是 inspire 这个字的意思就是刚刚呢 C 表示讲到这个点子是来自于这个灵感是来自于，换言之它是为这个所启发，你就可以这样子用 be inspired by 点点点点点所以呢我们看到这一段讲到本书的这个故事呢，它是为什么所启发的呢？为作者他过去自己的 real life events， 我们叫亲身的经历、亲身的事件所启发的。
Yes. She also kept a life list as a young girl. So she turned that into a story. So we just said the story was inspired by real-life events. Well, one of those events, she also, like the girl Brett, she also kept a life list as a young girl. So she turned that into a story.
没错。所以呢，那么前面既然讲到说是用真实的亲身经历呢来启发了这个故事的灵感的，所以他马上就来讲了啊。所以呢，他提到说他自己在还年纪小的时候，还是一个小女孩的时候呢，他也呢这个写了一份这个生命清单，而所以呢，他就把 that 是指他写生命清单这个亲身经历呢，就化为了他笔下的故事，所以叫做 turn that into a story， 把它写成故事。
Unfortunately, she was diagnosed with cancer during the release of the book. Now, when we talk about the release of the book, as the book was being promoted, and as when they started to sell the book and to promote the book, that is the release. So just as they release it and they start doing all the promotion and she's probably signing books and talking about it on TV, maybe. As this is happening, she was diagnosed with cancer. And diagnose means the doctor looks at your health and says, you have a problem. That's the simplest way
That's right.
to say diagnose.
没错，这个字呢，其实指的是诊断的意思哦，所以被诊断出来有什么病，就是像这样的一个表达方式。所以呢，这边讲到说很不幸的是unfortunately， 那么呢，他呢，在他出书的同时，也被诊断出罹患了癌症哦。那么，所以刚刚有提到 release 这个字，在这里的话呢，句子中他把它当名词用 ，the release of 点点点，那它其实也可以当动词啊。那么呢，这里的话，出书刚刚这个 Stevie 老师有提到了，其实就是你 sell， 你开始卖书，以及 promote， 你开始这个宣传书，这个就称为你开始出书。
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, so she was diagnosed with cancer, but luckily for Spielman and her readers, she did not end up like Brett's mother. We just said that Brett's mother died of cancer.
That's right.
So, luckily, pardon me, for Spielman and for us, her readers, she did not end up like Brett's mother.
She didn't die.
Yeah, she did not die.
所以呢，接下来讲到前面先说了一句不幸的但是这边呢讲到说幸运的是，而且是对谁来说呢？对这个 Spielman 本人以及他的读者们来说，幸运的是他并没有落得像他妈妈一样的下场这个 end up 就是下场如什么什么，或者是结果怎么样怎么样了那这里呢，有时候你看到后面会接动词 ing， 但是或者有另外一种常见的用法，就是这里的 end up like 谁所以呢没有像他妈妈一样，所以换言之，他没有因为癌症而死掉。
Yep. She survived. She lived to write 2 more books and signed a movie deal for the Life List. We say she signed a movie deal. That means that somebody said, we like this book, we want to turn it into a movie, and here's a contract.
That's right.
有哪一些条件? Okay, here's the contract, and you sign it. 签名, right? So we call that signing a movie deal. That means you got a movie deal.
Yeah, you agree.
Yeah.
所以呢，接下来他最后讲到说，他呢 survived， 我们讲他活下来了，他存活了。通常是呢从某个大危难当中呢幸免然后呢存活下来，然后他还写了再多的2本书，并且还为这个生命清单签下了一纸电影的合约。
Okay, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be right back with a quick review. Okay, we're going to have just a quick review. A life list is something that you want to do in your life. Usually we write that when we're young. Well, we have heard of another one, and there's been a movie and a book called The Bucket List. So a bucket list is a list of the things you want to do before you die. And this usually you write this list when you're older. Before I go, I want to go to Paris. I want to travel around the world. But this is a little different. The bucket list, the idea is what you want to do before you die. The life list is something when you're young, things you want to do in your life, goals that you have. So they're a little different, but also a little the same.
对，其实呢，写的是同样一段的那个时间段呐，但是呢，一个是从小的时候比较年轻的时候开始写，另外一个是从比较年长了决定我离开之前我要完成什么，这个写的时间点不同但是呢，两个写的其实都是这样子的一个想做什么的清单，这个是很有趣的。
Yeah, so 以后我们可能会写 bucket list, 但是我们现在还够年轻，我们可以写 life list.
OK.
干嘛笑？That's all the time we have for today. See you next time. Bye-bye.
第20页，好书俱乐部，勇于追梦，活出精彩人生。
The Life List. It's never too late to live. The Life List is the debut novel by American writer Laurie Nelson Spielman. Spielman wasn't always an author, though. Her first careers were as a speech therapist and after that a teacher. In fact, she didn't write her first novel until she was 48 years old. Still, it was worth the wait for The Life List. The book tells the story of a woman named Brett. After losing her mother to cancer, Brett hopes to inherit the company her mother established. However, her mother's will requires that Brett first complete everything on a life list she created when she was 14. Items on the list include things like falling in love, having babies, and visiting Paris. The story was inspired by real-life events from the author's past. She also kept a life list as a young girl, so she turned that into a story. Unfortunately, she was diagnosed with cancer during the release of the book. But luckily for Spielman and her readers, she did not end up like Brett's mother. She survived to write 2 more books and signed a movie deal for The Life List.